Welcome, everybody. We are live. I'm so excited to have you with us today. Actually, I got a very special guest. We have Strobe Finance here. We often talk about the future infrastructure for the XRP ledger. I was actually very interested to speak with the Strobe team. So I personally reached out to them and I wanted to bring them on the show to go through what they've built and why it's important to the XRP ecosystem. And of course, we're going to talk about the Ripple and SEC case after the interview. But I'm really excited to touch base here. So we got George and we got Raul from Strobe. Why don't we do this, guys? Before we kind of get into some questions about what you guys have built, why don't we just kind of understand who you are and kind of what brought you to Strobe? So, George, you want to start first, and then we'll get Raul to come in right after?
Absolutely. So I'm George. I'm business development lead here. My experience was prior to this in a lot of sort of like dealing with arranging meetings and in dealing with governmental bodies and stuff like that in the United Kingdom, specifically around like medical care and healthcare and stuff like that. So dealing with people in difficult situations and sort of like trying to skirt around and deal with a lot of like regulated areas where you had to follow very strict rules and stuff like that. And then I sort of moved more into the crypto space itself. And now, I deal with the business development here at Strobe. We have our own sort of like social outward facing initiatives. So we have our own podcast and stuff like that, where we love to have people on, and you'll see me there as well. But otherwise, you'll mostly just see me in the community.
Brilliant. I appreciate that, George. Raul, what you got, man?
First of all, thanks for having us. It's great for us to be here. My background is a bit different. I started off in TradFi. I was working as an equity trader. Then after a couple of years, I moved to Hong Kong in 2019. Then I kept working on TradFi, a bit of financial advisory. Then I was able to do a master's more focused in fintech. And once I graduated from the master's, I was able to switch full-time to crypto, Web3. And I've been working in the space ever since. So since around 2021, I've worked for a synthetic asset protocol, another money market protocol on a layer 2 on top of Ethereum. And most recently, we're here at Strobe.
Brilliant, man. Well, I'm so glad to have you with us. If you're just now joining us in the audience, we have Strobe Finance here. We're going to get into some utility and what makes it special. But I want you guys, if you can, if you're on X here, let's go ahead and share the space, tweet it out if you can. And then if you're on YouTube, go ahead and hit like. I really appreciate it. We'll get into some questions here. So let's get like a general vision and understanding of the ecosystem. So what problem does Strobe protocol solve for XRP holders that hasn't been possible on the XRP BL before, like the EVM sidechain and the Axelar integrations?
So I think I can take this one. I think one of the problems that XRP has been facing is that there's not a lot of yield opportunities out there. A lot of XRP is sitting dormant on centralized exchanges or maybe on cold wallet storage. So I think given the XRPL's nature and just because it's more efficient on transactions and payments, there hasn't been those smart contracts or DeFi layer. And I think that's where Strobe comes in, and that's where we can add value to the users. Now with the recently launched EVM sidechain and our GMP through Axelar, we are able to actually start this new DeFi, enable the liquidity layer. So that's kind of what we want to do. And so we want to capture, I believe like currently the XRP market cap is around 180 billion. So, and just to put that in comparison, I believe, for example, Ethereum's market cap is around 450 billion. And roughly around 20% of that is in the Ethereum layer 1 being productive. So if we can only capture that same percentage, that will mean around a 30 billion market cap for the XRP ledger. So I think that the opportunity is there. And we're just getting started.
What differentiates Strobe from other money market protocols available on other EVM blockchains? Like, what makes you guys special?
I can take this a little bit.
Go ahead.
So one big part of it is obviously the integration of XRP itself. So the other money markets, they don't offer the same asset spread, which first of all is one thing. And the second thing is that it's an environment that's going to be specifically catered towards like a very easy user journey that's going to be accessible to people like sort of no matter their experience. So we want to abstract a lot of that technical difficulty that comes with trying to move assets to different places, find what you want to find to be able to deposit and things like that. So most of that technical aspect of things has been abstracted away. So what you'll do is you'll come to the XRP ledger, you'll just go to Strobe Finance, you'll be able to, connect your wallet, press a few buttons, and that's it. You are done. All of the bridging that would need to happen to get from the XRP ledger to somewhere EVM, you don't have to do that. That's all taken care of by the system. So you don't have to deal with any of the worries or the mess or the headache of potentially inputting something wrong. All of that is handled for you.
Yeah, I think if you've been in the crypto space long enough, you've probably either like connected to something maybe you shouldn't have or sent money to the wrong place. I mean, it's just, accidents are so easy to happen in the crypto space because of how technical it is. So anytime you can make it easier for people to get from point A to point B without all of these extra steps, I think that's beneficial. Why don't you guys tell us, like, what is the average XRP holder? What do they have to gain by coming to Strobe? Obviously, you guys, can you talk about like the benefits of like what is it, like a percentage on your XRP? Is it monthly? Is it weekly? Is it daily? Like, what are people getting from Strobe?
Yeah, I can go a bit into this. So basically how our money works is that you would deposit to the XRP pool, and then the yield would come from people borrowing from that XRP. So then like the borrowers would be paying the suppliers, the lenders, the APY. It is paid constantly. And then the idea is that this will also enable, for example, like you can deposit your XRP with us, and then you can take on an over-collateralized loan and then borrow, for example, a stablecoin, and that you would still get the XRP exposure. So you would still get the capital gains, the interest paid by the borrowers. But on the other side, you don't lose any liquidity. You get that stablecoin liquidity for your day-to-day expenses, and it just enables other DeFi strategies. You could leverage, use that stablecoin to buy other tokens, more XRP. So it just enables a new set of use cases for the ledger.
So, if the price of XRP is kind of continuously going up, right, you could technically take your XRP, bring it to Strobe, take a loan on a stable coin from your XRP to go buy more XRP to bring it back to Strobe and kind of do this infinite money glitch. Like it sounds too good to be true. So at like what point does that not work? Is that when the price is going down and you have to worry about your loan getting called, or, because, I think this is kind of what Michael Saylor does with Bitcoin, right? He sells stock to take money to buy more Bitcoin, to sell more stock. It's kind of like the infinite money glitch. It sounds like you guys are doing something very similar. So at what point do people need to like be cautious of or worried about with that?
I think users just need to be careful of not getting liquidated. So yeah, you're right. So for example, right now, what we offer is over collateralized loans. So let's say you deposit $100 worth of XRP on Strobe, and then you can take up to 80% loan to value ratio. So then ideally, we don't recommend people to take the maximum, because as soon as the XRP price drops a bit below, then you're not meeting that minimum LTV value. Yeah. So yeah. So that is one thing to consider. And then there is a liquidation premium. So in order to keep the protocol safe, we and other users are allowed to liquidate in order to, so we will always keep a loan to value ratio of the overall protocol safe.
I do have a question here. So, a lot of people, what people worry about in the crypto market is the technology that they are interacting with, is it safe, right? Like, what maybe, I know you guys are not on the development side, you're not coders and things like that, but can you just talk to a very like low level of the technical things that people might need to worry about? Like, how do you keep people's money safe, for their XRP safe, if they're bringing it to your platform, if they're staking it, they're taking it alone, what is there anything that people need to worry about? What partners do you guys use to keep their money safe?
So there's a lot of different aspects to this. There isn't just one note. So I'll go through a little bit of what it is that we do. So one of those things is that the core contracts are immutable. So the contracts that are handling everything, we can't change them. If, God forbid, anybody ever did get access somehow, they can't change them either. Okay. So it's functional now. It works the way that it should. That cannot be changed ever. There's like multi-sigs applied to, administration wallets and different functions, just to make sure that, no single actor can do anything. You can't oopsie press a button, you know what I mean? And then something goes wrong. We have caps on the assets to make sure that there isn't too much inflation on a supply and the rest of the protocol can't keep up. We have peer reviews from like internal sources, and then for large pushes, we have audits. So we've had 2 audits already from Hacken and Softstack, and we currently have a bounty program being run by Hacken, where they employ sort of like verified hackers to try and attack your project for a reward. And if they succeed, obviously, that'll show you the vulnerability and they'll get paid out. But if it doesn't, we're sort of inviting them to try and break it because, we're confident and we're comfortable. And on top of that, that's like the sort of like the infrastructure security. There is security inside of the protocol itself. So as Raul mentioned, there is an LTV that we give, so a loan to value ratio, to prevent people from borrowing too much at one time. And we do suggest there's a lot of small things that I think a lot of people don't realize. So there's a health factor indicator. So it shows you how close you are, basically, your collateral to your debt. So how close you might be to becoming 1-to-1, which is when liquidation becomes a reality. And even something just as a dynamically color changing bar. So as you get closer to that liquidation, it grows those more aggressive red colors. And then as you're further away from it, it's green. There's very clear visual indication for you as soon as you open up and you interact to know whether or not you're safe, or whether or not, you're putting yourself a little bit at risk if you're borrowing here, and maybe you want to consider topping up or potentially, reducing one of your positions. And then the other side of things is that everything in the protocol is dynamic when it comes to the interest and like the supply and the borrow rates. So as one goes up, it incentivizes the other to go up. And if one goes down, it incentivizes the other to go down to try and keep them balanced. So if there's too much borrowing and the demand gets too high, the APY for supplying will skyrocket, and then everyone will be like, incredible, great, let me supply some. And then that brings all of the values sort of back into normality, So even if there are huge swings, it's actually the supply and demand that will keep itself safe in a way.
Why did you guys choose the XRP ledger? Is there anything like, is there a story there of kind of why you decided to build this product here now and not somewhere else on some other chain with some other community?
I think we kind of touched a bit about it earlier. I think as we saw that the launch of the EVM sidechain was coming closer, and we saw the opportunity. XRP is the 3rd largest cryptocurrency in terms of market cap. So that was that was a very good incentive. But itself, alongside also like the team at RippleX and like just the team building the XRP ledger, they're very professional, and it's been, I think the XRPL has been live since 2012 and no security incidents. So it's got that's impressive, right? Especially like coming from a background from Ethereum and DeFi, like these hacks happen all the time, even on centralized exchanges. They're not safe from any. So I think it was a combination of things. And now with for example, with the recent SEC ruling and everything, it just seems like it's one of the best times to be building on the ledger.
Yeah, you got good timing on all this, right? Because yesterday we had that news where the SEC is dropping their cross appeal, and blue skies are ahead, man. And it's been a challenging road for a lot of us the last 4.5 years, but man, now's the time. That's really cool. Are there any other products that you guys are interested in building or that you're working on that we can maybe discuss or talk about?
Absolutely. So at face value, Strobe is a lending protocol, lending and borrowing, but that's not really the end goal. The end goal is to be like a full-on liquidity layer, and be able to provide the infrastructure, because the DeFi ecosystem is still in its early stages. It's still sort of birthing itself. And one of the biggest issues for trying to engage a DeFi ecosystem is liquidity, which means the first thing that you need there to be an opportunity. And then other people can come take advantage of what that opportunity has given and build from that. So by us being able to draw a lot of that liquidity that was, on sexes or cold wallets, as Raul mentioned earlier, and be able to draw that so that it's not dormant anymore. Now that those assets are activated, we're actually going to be in a position where other projects are going to look at all of that activated TVL, and they're going to be like, it's going to be worth me, either expanding here, or maybe I've got an idea and I want to build something here, because there's money moving there now. Previously, the TVL on the XRP ledger has been notoriously low at times, with the majority of it sort of being held elsewhere. And now that a lot of that is starting to sort of be drawn back in, it's looking, it was less than 0.1%, I believe, at the end of last year of its total market cap. And that's risen significantly, obviously not to the levels that we hope it does. We want to see a flourishing, budding ecosystem. But the idea that it's a little bit cliche, but you build it and they'll come type scenario. We're sort of trying to lay this foundation, not only obviously for ourselves, but for everybody else. However, in terms of our product offerings, one of the main steps that we're focusing on very, very heavily is going to be vault strategies, because that is just another way to be able to offer people a place to, put their funds and earn, that passive native yield and contribute to different portions of DeFi, different varying ecosystems. And that will be an avenue that we can sort of start to explore, taking funds and taking advantage of opportunities on the EVM side of things. So right now we're focused so heavily on the XRP ledger side of things and making sure that, we're setting our roots in deep and we're well ingrained in the community. But there is obviously that EVM connection that exists there. And so that will be where we start to potentially look at being able to take advantage of that. And then we're not only bringing the XRP ledger TVL back to the ledger, we're also sort of potentially drawing some of that EVM TVL also to the ledger.
Got it. Guys, if you're just now joining us, we have Strobe Finance here. They just launched their product on the XRP ledger, what was it, a few weeks ago, or how long has it been?
This week.
Just this Monday.
This week. Okay. And so if you're just now joining us, we're going through all of this. So grab a seat. This is actually some really interesting information. Why don't you guys tell us, what's happened since you've launched? How much locked TVL do you have so far? And what has been the experience working in the XRP community with your partners? And, just maybe talk to us about what that's been like.
I can go into a bit. So, first of all, the experience with our partners has been great. We couldn't have done this without them. We rely, just because of the nature of Strobe, like the cross-chain, we rely heavily on our partners, right? So we've been working very closely with the team from the EVM side chain, PeerSyst. We work closely with Axelar. They provide the infrastructure for the GMP, general message passing. Also, the team at Saman Wallet has incredibly, and they've always been there. Like whenever we come into something that needs a quick fix, or if we have an issue, we're in constant communication with them, and they've always been super responsive. So a big shout out to them. In terms of TVL, as we mentioned, we launched on Monday. I believe it was yesterday. We just crossed the 1 million TVL market. Yeah, TVL cap. And I think from what we've seen, the response from the XRP community has been amazing. I think we didn't expect to hit that milestone so soon. And we've actually we have a security caps, supply and borrow caps set in motion. So we've actually had to been increasing those along the way. We had to increase one just on the first day, just to make sure user experience was good. If a new user came to the protocol and they wanted to supply some XRP, they weren't hit with that cap, and they didn't have another good experience, right? So I think from my side, that it's been great so far. I don't know if I missed anything, George.
In general, again, you didn't really miss anything, but I do want to hinge again on how impossible this would have been without sort of working with a lot of the teams that we have worked with. And that's part of why we've been trying to sort of highlight them as well on our social medias and make sure that everybody else understands exactly how important they have been. Because all of the partners that we're launching with, it would be completely impossible without. Zaman is the exclusive wallet for us at the moment. The direct integration with their X App Store has been wonderful. And even the sort of infrastructure partners that you may not see, we have an integrated swap function on there, and that's powered by Squid, for example. And the partners that you might not see, like Band and Gold Sky and Grove, who deal with like infrastructure, API, price feeds, that kind of thing, they sort of go a little bit unsung, I think, in a lot of these ecosystems. The developers will know them and love them, but a lot of the users, they'll sort of see their name on a lot of websites for, oh, these are our partners, these help us make it happen. But, very rarely, I think, a lot of people will actually look into what it is that they do and what they provide. And they provide the core functionality that makes everything possible. Even things as simple as making a wallet app able to connect where it should, that's an infrastructure partner that's made that possible. So I definitely wouldn't underestimate the impact that they have, because when you don't have them and you can't build it, you can't do it, you feel so powerless, and there's such limitations there without them.
No, working with the right partners makes all the difference in the world. Obviously, choosing the wrong partner could be could be a catastrophe. So some of the people or the partners that you mentioned, I've heard the names before, multiple times. Let's do this. Help us understand. I'd imagine the first week everything's been very exciting. A lot of people coming in, answering questions. But at what point, what goals have you set for Strobe Finance? Like, what would you consider an absolute banger of a successful year in 2025 as we get to December, as Christmas comes, as New Year's comes? You guys look back and say, we achieved our goals. Like, what are those goals that you guys are trying to get to? Anything that you can share with us, I find really interesting. One
of the main comparisons that obviously is going to be made, I think, is that we're hoping to be to the XRPL what Aave is to Ethereum and the EVM chains, right? And I believe Aave has around 20%, again, of that DeFi TVL. And so that's obviously very much on our mind if we're comparing ourselves to being, somewhat equivalent in at least in functionality, in terms of experience and respect. They have many, many years on us, of course. But using them as a reference point, as a friendly rivalry, sort of our goal, as it were, for the immediacy. That's going to be what we're shooting for, I guess, would be whatever that number might be, 20% of the TVL, and being able to enable that sort of liquidity acquisition and enable other projects that we can work with in the future to potentially be able to build here because of what we've laid the foundation for. In general, though, from like a more technical perspective, obviously it's going to be the development of the protocol, moving on to onboarding more assets that people want to see. As soon as we're able to, we're looking at bringing new assets on, like RLUSD, once the nitty gritty technical aspects and the regulatory aspects are dealt with, and then sort of moving into those alternative options, because money markets will follow the market. A lending protocol will follow the market. And so having alternative options for what you can do and how you can earn APY is just as important as the lending and borrowing protocol itself. So in general, I guess it's sort of like trying to solidify our position, circa Aave and the EVM, and then just trying to make sure that what we're rolling out as we're sort of dropping things progressively, that those are things that align with what the ecosystem wants, asset-wise or product-wise. Do you think like the evolution of Flare and Cardano working on Midnight, trying to add some, DeFi layer to the XRP ledger, would you consider all of this competition, or would you consider this needed infrastructure for you guys to even be successful? I think it can be both. There's no reason why it is just one thing. Arguably, every project that's in DeFi is a competitor to every other project in DeFi, because everybody's chasing the TVL, right? Yeah. But I think it's necessary because, desperation and competition are the mother of innovation. If there weren't anybody else challenging you, you'd grow complacent and you wouldn't offer anything new, and that you'd just open the wheel up for somebody else. And they are also opportunities to collaborate, especially when you're dealing with lending and borrowing, for example. There's no reason why somebody might, because Flare are going to be offering, their XRP yield. There's no reason why people can't come to Strobe with assets that aren't XRP to then borrow XRP and go somewhere else with it, right? And they can take advantage of multiple different protocols there at once. It can be a symbiotic relationship and not necessarily like a combative parasitic one, right? And I think that's a very, very important thing to keep note of, is that, things can be both. They can be both, friendly competition, and they can be cohabitation.
No,
And I
man.
think-
I'm sorry. Please.
Just to add to that, yeah, and eventually when we launch out our vault strategy, our vaults, that can definitely be an option for us, like for us to choose where to park that XRP and generate that extra yield. So yeah, definitely, they might be a bit of a competitor in terms of the money market side of things, but potentially for vaults, for example, they would be such a good complement.
Man, we have a great question here from BB. I was actually GBB, you read my mind, like you are in my mind. So what I'm going to do, guys, let's go ahead and show you exactly who Strobe is on X, and I'll show you the website too, so you guys don't make any mistakes here. All right. So this is Strobe's X account, right? And then you know what? I will make sure that this is all in the description, but I'm going to post it here in the chat. There's their Twitter account. And then let's go to the website here. So it's strobe.finance, right, guys? This is good.
Yeah.
We'll pull this up. And so here we go. Strobe.finance. Let's give you that in the chat too, so you make sure that you're going to the right one. You want to walk us through kind of, now that somebody's here on the website, what is the, like, do they just launch the app and then that's what they get into it? Is that easy?
It depends if that's what you're looking for. Yeah, if you just want to dive straight in, you can have a look through. So we have a little bit of an explanation on what it is that we do, a little bit about the future, and you'll find our roadmap sort of leading into the beginning of 2026 for the directions that we're looking at. Obviously, it's not set in stone. You have to be as dynamic as possible. And there's a few frequently asked questions, and you'll have some links towards the bottom for other socials and stuff like that. And if you look towards the top, you'll have a link to the documentation if you either want to look at the technical side of things, or if you want to read through what you might be engaging with. There's like a very extensive user guide in there with both text and video guides for how to perform all of the relevant different steps. We wanted to try and make it as accessible as possible. So whether you're looking from the aspect of just wanting to use it, or you actually want to know a little bit technically about how it works, because it is a unique architecture, being cross-chain, handling, different chain architectures, one being EVM and the other one being the XRP ledger. But yeah, once you launch the app, you'll generally come to the dashboard, and what you'll see assets to supply and to borrow. So it might look a little bit different depending on your screen size or if you're looking on the mobile, but in general, you'll see assets to supply, assets to borrow. You'll see APY, you'll see borrowing interest rates, and we feel like it should be intuitive for most people. If you're looking to supply, you'll be looking to press the plus buttons. If you're looking to like withdraw or leave the system, you will press the minus buttons. And then if you look towards the top, you'll have the nav bar. And so there you can sort of see the different windows you can go to. You can look at markets if you want to see the assets themselves. And there's actually some good detail on there if you want to go to the markets tab for us quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Markets tab right here. And then
like details on XRP, for example. And there will be some really, really nice graphs that you'll be able to see there. So on the right-hand side, you'll see the details tab.
Where am I not seeing this? Is it up here? No.
On the right-hand side.
Right-hand side. Okay. How does this work? Oh, is this right here? Learn more?
So you'll see the details.
Sorry. Yeah. I'm a new user. We're experiencing this together. This was my first roadblock. So we click the details button. Oh, snap. Okay, here we go.
So what you'll see is supply, you'll see rates, and if you move down, you'll actually see like an example of our interest rate curve. So what you can do is you can actually click and drag that along to see how different utilizations affect the interest rate. So you can see potentially, if you're expecting the rates to change, and you'll see that moment of correction, right? So just beyond the optimal, that's when both rates sort of start to skyrocket to incentivize the protocol to fix itself, as it were. But then you'll see
beautiful.
The built-in swaps there.
Here, let me bring up XRP, because I know some people are interested in seeing the XRP stuff. So you want to walk us through what you're saying here?
Yeah. So what you're seeing generally is you're seeing the utilization rate. So as the utilization rate goes up and the demand, as the closer they are together, the further this will move along the line. And then once it reaches that optimal utilization rate, it will start to sort of magnify both the supply and the borrow rates. And what that's intended to do is that's intended to make it much, much more attractive for you to supply, to then reduce the utilization rate, and to disincentivize borrowing because the interest rates will become too high. So you'll either need to repay, and your assets will go back in, or people will be supplying more themselves.
And you already have 335,000 XRP supplied here, huh?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
So we managed to breach the 1 million TVL, which was an incredible milestone.
Congratulations. Yeah, right here. Reverse size, 1.102 million. Wow. So you guys would consider the last week pretty successful then?
Absolutely.
Brilliant. I know kind of time is limited and it's a factor. Is there anything that we haven't talked about? I mean, you guys know this project inside and out. I'm just learning about it, reading through the documentation. I did want to add, you guys did a hell of a job with the docs, because I have looked at thousands of Git books or white papers, things like that. And that is very detailed. And I love the videos. You guys did an excellent job. Whoever put that together, my hat's off to you. Is there anything that I haven't asked that's super important, or anything that, you guys are just dying to talk about kind of before we kind of close to an end here? I
want to sort of chime in a little bit and appreciate the praise, because it was actually myself and Raul that did a lot of the documentation work.
Beautiful.
And so that's kind of the reception that we are hoping for. There have been a few members of the community who said something similar, and that's really endearing for us, because it's one of the main things that we're trying to focus on. There are still aspects to the protocol that aren't as clear as we would like them to be.
Sure.
Especially because in order to get access to some of the assets to deposit on, they have to be bridged over from Ethereum, which is a more difficult user journey. If there's people who have assets on the XRP ledger, but they don't want to deposit XRP, they do want to deposit the other assets. Having to go through Ethereum is a negative. So we are looking at alternatives, and we are looking at ways that we can simplify that process and provide a super easy step-by-step for people to follow if they do want to. But yeah, expanding the assets, ensuring obviously that we're only bringing the high quality ones, but simplifying the process, making it easier, and just trying to remove as many friction points as possible, because the last thing we want people to do is to come to the application, try to use it, stumble at a certain point and just give up, because that's a potential forever user that's lost now. And so we encourage everybody, if you ever hit a roadblock, absolutely reach out. Not only does it help us to educate you and help you to get your head around it if there's something you're not understanding, or it might be a design flaw from us where we haven't indicated it in the correct way. It's not necessarily the case that the user is at error or the user is at fault. There could be somewhere where we could make something clearer for the users, and without the feedback from the community, that's just not as possible. It'll take longer for us to notice, or you'll be waiting for somebody else to bring it up. So absolutely, get yourselves involved in the community and be as vocal as you can about the protocol, and just help us to help you to make it, the best experience possible.
Really quickly, George, before I give Raul a chance to jump in here, what is the best way for a regular person, right, that is maybe having issues or experiencing problems to communicate with the team? Because obviously Discord has its challenges with scammers, so does X and every other platform out here. And I care deeply about, my community being able to connect with someone legitimately on your team. So what would you recommend is the best way to really get in contact with the team and not have this thing where they don't know if they're talking with you or a scammer?
In general, the best way is going to be X. If you're worried about any issues to do with Discord, so Discord and Telegram are two of the primary avenues for getting in contact with us. If you can't do it by either of those ways, X is probably going to be your best bet. Okay. Again, just DM the Strobe Finance account, or you might find my account, which should be George Strobe. You'll be able to. I'll be linked on the Strobe Finance page in a few of the posts if you wanted to look for me. And absolutely reach out. Because the last thing that we want is for people to sort of write Strobe off.
I hear that.
At least if they come and they don't like it, communicate to us what you don't like, because it might be something that we can change, and maybe we can change your mind further down the line.
I love that. I love that. Raul, I want to bring you in, man. Is there anything, that we haven't touched on that you feel is important? Anything you want to add to what George said? I mean, now's definitely the time.
I think George touched on a very important topic. I think we take feedback very seriously. So we invite everyone to try out the protocol, give it a try, and just let us know what you think. Same, we have a 24-hour support. We have a Telegram channel and a Discord server. So I know it comes a bit. It can be tough for like non-crypto users to go on there. There's a lot of scammers, but we try to keep as much safety measures as possible. Like both on our Telegram and our Discord, the support staff or the core team is it's very visible that we're on the team. We have a report scammers, so we try to keep a safety environment, and we'll always be super responsive, and we take any feedback. So if it's good, bad, we're always looking to improve the protocol and optimize it and make it better for users. So yeah, everyone's welcome.
I love that. So guys, if you're just now joining us, I advise you, please go back to the very beginning, watch this interview. This is Strobe Finance. They just launched on the XRP ledger. They have a way that you can use your XRP and a few other assets to borrow and maybe even make even more, as well as they're working on new technologies. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you for spending this time with me and my audience. And, come back whenever you guys can and give us updates and tell us more. We look forward to seeing how you guys can progress and support the XRP community. Thank you.
It's been wonderful. Thank you so much for having us. It's been a blast.
Awesome, guys. Thank you, man. You guys have a great weekend. Appreciate your time.
Will do. You too. Bye, everyone.
All right. That was cool, man. I love, I just want to make sure everyone knows that wasn't like a paid collaboration. Like I was thoroughly interested in what Strobe was doing, and I wanted to hear right from the team. And I think people can get value from that. When we bring these teams on and we hear kind of what their ideas are, what their passions are, what they've built and how it can support our community and our ecosystem. I think that's super important to have that conversation. And I hope, some of you at least maybe try it out with a few XRP or something like that, test it out, give them some feedback, and who knows, maybe it becomes something that you thoroughly enjoy and want to use going forward. So appreciate you guys just hanging out in the chat. How we feeling? Holy smokes. The SEC finally gave up. They tapped out. They said, I don't want any more. Please don't make us look bad on the world stage, Virpil. Please don't do it again. Oh, man. I was super emotional yesterday. I was like happy, but I was also sad at the same time. Like I didn't know how to feel because I was one hand, I was like, oh my God, this is like 4.5 years of my life. I've been dealing with this. Like, I don't know how to feel outside of, all of this pressure and this lawsuit and this stress, and then it's like, oh, this is gone now. Like I was just trying to figure out who I was in that moment. I hope you guys understand, we've all kind of dealt with this together. And I know sometimes it feels like you're going through these things by yourself, but there's millions of other people out there that are going through this with you. And, I don't know if Ripple would have been able to get through the last 4.5 plus years without the XRP community. I really don't think they would have been able to do it, right? Because the amount of support that people showed up every single day to support Ripple, the company, and the XRP ledger, I'm speechless. Like I can't even describe how big of an impact each one of you made. So please don't take that lightly. Celebrate this weekend. Take your significant, whether it's your wife or your husband, whatever it is, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever it is, right? Your dog, your cat, your fish. Maybe not your fish. Take them out. Celebrate. Toast a glass, whether it's water, champagne, whatever cocktail you like. Toast a glass and take a moment to absorb what we've been through the last few years and the good times ahead, because it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Coinbase delisted XRP the day I went to buy it. Shit, BB. I hear you, man. I hear you. Is Strobe non-custodial? See, that was a question we probably should have asked them, Richard. That is something I would need to find out. They have a very very detailed white paper, and I was trying to put everything together. Like we just confirmed, the interview, like reconfirmed it. We talked about it like a week or two ago, but we reconfirmed it like a day or two ago. And so I was playing catch up the last 2 days, and with like the Ripple news and me trying to take some time off yesterday, it just didn't go well. So well, I'll find out for you, Richard. I'll let you know inside of Cryptonaires, man. I'll let you know, man. Good to see you. Christopher's here. What's up, Christopher? Always a pleasure. Ariana's here to keep us safe. Great to see you, Ariana. Stephen Williams is here. Nice to see you, Stephen. What's up? What's up? Larry McNair is here. What's up, Larry? Excellent info. Well, Larry, that's what we're trying to do, man. We're trying to get it good. Is $4 possible? So this is a great question, right? And I appreciate you asking the question. And none of us have a crystal ball, but I can tell you the things that I'm most excited about or bullish about when it comes to XRP over the next few months. All right. So the reason I personally think the SEC hadn't approved the spot XRP ETFs is because this case was still going on. That's my personal feeling. Obviously, they haven't come out and said that, but I mean, you just kind of look around and say, maybe this is what they were waiting for, right? Some of these lawsuits and things like that to be wrapped up. So my thing is, now that there's nothing really holding Ripple back, the SEC will probably most likely approve these ETFs. So, we're going in. August is usually a weird month for Bitcoin. The last like 13 years, Bitcoin's been actually down in August. But if you look back in the bull market years, you definitely can see that Bitcoin's had a decent return in August. And so August and September are usually those months where we don't really know if we want to go up or down, and we get some of this sideways chop. But when we get to like October, November, December, that is really when fireworks and all of this stuff can really start happening, right? And I'm starting to see, the last few months, it's been kind of okay with some returns here and there in some crypto space. But like, there's a lot of projects that we talk about inside of Cryptonaires. If you're not familiar with what Cryptonaires is, it's all good. It's my Discord community that we have a great team, and we have a great group of people from all over the world that are kind of in there. We're all sharing ideas, we're sharing information, and we invest in, a lot of like new AI or base projects. Sometimes it's gaming, whatever it is. But we have been pretty on fire recently. I think, I was just playing around with a few different plays, and I think the last 2 weeks, I'm up about $20,000 on just one of the projects that I put money into. And I actually got a message from one of the community members today saying that one of our team members has been posting a lot of really amazing stuff. And so it's been really fun to kind of ride those plays. And I think it's going to get crazy in the last few months of the market. So I'm really excited to be a part of that. But man, there's just so much going on. So is $4 possible? I think you're going to get the ETF approvals. You also are going to get the Clarity Act, right? The regulation in the crypto space. Now that probably won't go into effect until probably next year, or maybe even early 2027. But the rules of the road will be there. I think more banks, you saw JP Morgan and Coinbase entering a partnership where you can basically move money instantly from your Chase account into Coinbase and vice versa. That is going to play a vital role. I think you're going to see other exchanges and other major banks offering the same type of thing. When you get a paycheck and your paycheck is deposited inside of your bank account, you are going to get a message from the bank. Hey, are you interested in putting 3% or 5% into XRP or Bitcoin or whatever it is that you're interested in? So people are underestimating how crazy this is about to get. I was doing some research on a video earlier. Let me just show you some stuff. Let me see if I can pull this up. It wasn't this video. I always keep like the videos I'm working on or just did because there's a lot of really cool information that I can pull and show you guys. So give me 1 second here. I'm just trying to remember. I did 2 videos earlier today, and I'm looking for a special thing. Hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second here. So this is the SEC. Hold on. I want to show you how much money is about to come into the space, because I don't think people really understand how big this is about to get. Okay, here we go. I got it. Let me move it over. All right, cool. Let's share the screen. Oh, hold on. I got to verify that I'm a human. Brilliant. Okay, we got it. All right, I'm going to lower this. We're going to be talking about XRP's possible price here. Okay, so check this out. So if you're not familiar, okay, every insurance company, hedge fund, pension fund, brokerage firm, endowment fund, sovereign wealth fund, family office, are about to put money into crypto. And if you're like, oh, Sensei, those, it doesn't sound like there's a lot of money there. Let me just give you some of this, right? Insurance companies, $8.5 trillion, hedge funds, 5.2 trillion. Pension funds. President Trump just signed an executive order allowing 401ks and IRAs to invest in crypto. That's $56 trillion of possible investment into the crypto space. You're not going to get all this money, as you probably shouldn't expect to get all of anything, but imagine 5 or 10% of this money of $56 trillion going into the crypto space. If you got 10%, that'd be $5.6 trillion of fresh capital entering the crypto space. This is just pension funds. Brokerage firms is 40 trillion. Endowments is about 0.87 trillion. Banks have 22 trillion, 22.7. Sovereign wealth funds, 9.6 trillion. Family offices, $5.5 trillion. Okay. There is a wall, right? A tsunami wall filled just with money, $100 bills headed for the crypto space. All right. Now, we do need to have a conversation. Is this are we in a speculation market? Are we in a utility market? That's pretty obvious, right? We're still in a speculation market. But as this money comes in, and as the technology, as the jurisdictions and regulations catches up globally, right, we are going to be in a utility cycle before you know it. And I believe that's the next cycle. So what I'm going to be doing over the next few years is putting every single extra dollar that I can make out here in the world. I'm going to be scraping and fighting for every extra dollar. And I'm going to be putting that into the crypto space, because this is my time. I was built for this moment, right? I've been training the last 5 years of my life every single day. I have put my personal life on hold for the last 5 years to be in the crypto market, to learn as much as I could, to develop my skills, and to make as much money as I possibly can over the next 5 to 10 years. Because let's be honest, right? We're all looking to do whatever we want in life. And sometimes that's traveling. Sometimes that's painting or reading books or whatever it is that you want to do, right? Usually you have to pay for your house and your kids and your, everything, right? Your cars. Usually, our personal lives keep us in our jobs because we need to pay for these things so we can have somewhat of a decent life. But if money was not an issue, think about what you could do with your life. Think about what your kids could do with that money that you pass down. I think that is what everybody is focused on over the next few years. And I think it's going to be extremely, extremely impactful. All right. That seal is looking at me funny. I know. It happens. It happens. He loves you though, man. He loves you. I want to know who is shorting the top 10 crypto and why. So listen, guys, there's always going to be people that believe, and there's always going to be people that are in disbelief, right? There's people out there that think XRP's trash. It has no utility. Ripple's a garbage company. People, if you believe so passionate about something, there's somebody out there that feels passionate about anti of what you believe. So, we're going to get these kind of up moments and down moments and moments and down moments. But when we start to really push the pedal to the metal, right? If you haven't been in a bull market before, things can snap in an instant. Things can start going up, and, you're just going to need to be prepared for that. And, I get it, right? I have no control over what markets do or don't do, and people that buy and sell. It's always going to be we're still speculating on all this stuff. We're not at utility point yet. So just, know what you hold, believe in what you hold. And if you don't know or believe in what you hold, why are you holding it, right? Go move to something else that you actually believe in. And, let's get it. I don't know how you just did these eyeballs, but this is really cool, man. Is this 2 hands holding up eyeballs? That is crazy, man. Hey, Strobe, thank you for being here, man. It was a absolute honor to have you guys. Really appreciate it. And if you guys are just hanging out, we got about 670 people here. We got about 494 on X, about 183 here on YouTube. If you're enjoying the conversation, please, share the space or share whatever you want to do. I really appreciate it. Let's see here. N says, I want to live life on my own terms, financial freedom. That's exactly what we're talking about here. Richard says he wants to retire his bloodline. See, everybody has something, right? BB says, my family legacy, right? This is the time. We've never had this opportunity, right? You've never had the ability to own a piece of the next financial system. right? What did central banks ask you? You know, hey, we're looking about putting the next financial system together. You want to buy a piece of it, right? No one's ever going to give you that opportunity, right? No regular news, right? You turn on CNN or Fox or most of these things, they're not telling you about the next financial system. Yeah, they're telling you about Bitcoin's price and Ethereum's price and this is cool or whatever, right? Making money, but they're not telling you what really is happening behind the scenes with tokenization, with stable coins, right? They're starting to catch on now, but where have they been for the last few years, right? You have to do this work yourself. And that's what you're here for. You're learning, you're growing, you're spending time, and it's shit's inspiring, guys. It's inspiring. All right. Let's see here. Brandon Folks says, hey, Sensei, did you hear about the finance rug pull the other day? We went live on the 7th and was rug pull within 20 minutes of launch by the devs. And now they have up and vanished. Well, Brandon, like I think were you the one that kept asking me about this and I just didn't look into it? You know, there's so much happening in the crypto space, and a lot of it is by bad people doing bad stuff. And you know, I tend to stay away from a lot of new projects these days because of how bad it is, man. And you know, I know this probably hurts if you put money into this and now it's gone, but you know, this is the crypto market that we live in, and you have to be very careful about what you put money into, right? It all sounds good until it isn't. And I'm sorry that you went through that, and I'm sure it's extremely painful. Just know that probably everybody in the chat has been through something similar than what you're going through right now. This is a learning experience for you. It's a shitty learning experience, but please learn something from it, right? There are hacks, there are scammers, there are technology failures, there are bad actors. I mean, there's, you know, you ever seen those movies where somebody's walking through like a cave and like all of a sudden the floor kind of just disappears on them and they like fall down and there's like all these spikes, and you know, that's basically what the crypto market is. You are constantly walking around and there are traps everywhere, man. I'm very sorry to hear this, but I hope you learned a lesson. I hope the loss isn't a big one, man. I'm really sorry to hear that, brother. Algorand partnered with Zebik. Yeah, did Algorand announce it? I saw Algorand Foundation announce something, but that's really great, man. I know there's a lot of people that believe in Zebik. I'm happy for you, bro. I'm really happy for you. Let's not talk about Crypto Beast and altcoin. I have no idea what Crypto Beast and altcoin is. Unfortunately, they fed everyone the dream and drained it. You know, like scammers, especially if scammers that have been here a long time, right? They have developed skills, right? They know what to say. They know how to say it. They know what to show you. And, you know, part of getting into the crypto market, investing into newer projects, it's all risk, right? And you have to understand that, like, you know, you could lose all of your money in seconds if somebody decides to take it. And that's a scary feeling, man. And I'm just really sorry you're going through that, bro. Traps everywhere, my man. I lost 5K to altcoin. I'm sorry to hear that, man. I'm sorry to hear that. I don't. What is this? I don't even know what language is that. I don't even know, but it looks cool. All right, let's do this. Man, Brandon, I feel for you, man. I feel for you. Let's do this. Let's pull up a little bit of news. Let's explore what's kind of going on right now, and then we'll have some more conversation. We'll kind of shake this off, right? So here, this is what I was talking about here. So this is August. You see all this red in here? This is August. So in the last, since 2013, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 red years in August. Man, I gave you that statistic earlier. I was freaking right on. And you've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green months. Notice the green months technically come. This is 2017 bull market. Here was the 2020 and 2021 bull market. And then here is like 2024, we were down 8.6%. But if you're looking at the past kind of statistics for the bull cycle, we should have a green month for Bitcoin. There's a lot of bullish momentum happening right now. And I wouldn't underestimate how much money is going to be coming to the space here soon. Charles Hodgkinson is talking about a $250,000 Bitcoin price by 2026. Listen to this.
But I do believe we will live in a world of $1 million Bitcoin. I think it'll happen. It's hard to say when. I don't think this cycle, I think we'll probably cap out around 250,000. But I think inevitably over the next 10, 20, 30 years, we will see that day where there's $1 million Bitcoin.
And you say Bitcoin this cycle, you believe can get up to $250,000. You've said that before.
Yeah.
What drives that? And does this cycle end at the end of the year or into 2026?
2026. And the inventories are just too low. I mean, everybody's buying it. You know, you have all these DATs and you have these sovereign funds and other people, and there's just not enough Bitcoin being produced. So it's a supply and demand mechanic. And if you take a look at the buy volume in the Wall Street demand that's coming, there's just simply put not enough Bitcoin to go around. So if you look at the models, it's somewhere in that 150 to 300,000, and the expected value kind of sits around that 250 mark. And we've already achieved a great deal. And what's nice is once Bitcoin stalls, then people are like, I'm not getting enough love in Bitcoin. So then it leaks into the alts. So that's what creates the Giga Chad bull run for that. And I think the big push is going to be the Clarity Act being passed. And that'll probably pass around September to October. And then once that's in market, the Mag 7 will come in, other people will come in, and everybody will just start taking a little bit of crypto in their treasury management, the Fortune 500.
Yep.
These are trillion-dollar companies, and so by extension, that demand is just simply put too high.
This is something that we didn't talk about really quickly. Let me just touch on this before I forget. When we're talking about companies building treasuries in the crypto space, okay, you got to understand there are thousands of companies out there that are top 500, top 1,000 in the world, or in each country, or whatever you want to look at it, right? There's tens of thousands of these companies all over the world, right? You got to look at the US, you got to look at China, you got to look at South America, you got to look at Canada, you got to look at Europe, you got to look at the UK, you got to look at Africa in some places. There are a ton. Australia, right? Japan, just, I mean, we could go on naming all of these places, but all of these places have companies that are going to be interested in building some type of treasuries to do with cryptocurrency, right? We understand that Bitcoin's going to be one of the top choices. We get that. We understand that Ethereum is now, like, a lot of people that were really bullish on Bitcoin are even more bullish on Ethereum. But we got to understand that XRP is right there behind both of those, right? And it's $3.50 right now. Ethereum is 4,000. Bitcoin is 115,000. XRP is $3.50. Okay. So if you are a company, what are you going to decide here, right? Some companies are going to say, yeah, okay, we'll buy Bitcoin, we'll buy Ethereum. But some companies are going to be like, I like what Ripple's doing, right? People get the banker's coin. If you ask somebody that is not in crypto to explain smart contracts, people are going to be like, huh? But if you tell somebody about a bridge asset, they're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I can go from US dollars into any currency using XRP in between. Like, I understand that. I get that. And that is going to play a vital role going forward. So I just wanted to touch on that too, guys. That is a big, big deal.
Driver for Bitcoin DeFi is if all these large institutions hold Bitcoin, they're going to want, as a CFO, to create yield for that. They just don't want to have an opportunity cost of holding an asset that's passive and doesn't do anything. So if somebody comes to them and says, you can click this toggle and work with a third-party treasury management firm and get 5 or 6% like a T-bill on your Bitcoin at a relatively low risk, they'll be like, yeah, I'll do that for 20 or 30% of my inventory. And maybe that's $200 million or $300 million. And sum that across the whole Fortune 500. That's a TVL of probably 50 to 100 billion just off of that.
All right, let's keep it going here. So interesting, right? Even schools, right? Harvard University has disclosed they own 116 million in BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin holdings, right? Schools are starting to buy in, and you have people that have been in the Bitcoin space for a long time talking about a $250,000 Bitcoin in the next few months, right? So a lot of people are very, very bullish. Charles Hodgkinson predicts Cardano will flip Ethereum and Vitalik Buterin and retire in 2026. Listen to this.
You and me, we're on stage 1 year from now in Rare Evo. Give me a prediction, whether it's Bitcoin DeFi or partner chain, something a little specific on what we will see 1 year from now.
Well, first we'll be, sad that Vitalik retired after Cardano flipped it. The internet's going to have fun with that one. But levity aside, I want to win, damn it. Levity aside, midnight will be launched.
All right. Interesting. Altcoin rally signals flashing. Check this out. Golden cross on the total 2 chart. Death cross of Bitcoin dominance. Listen up.
And you can feel that we're not just talking about crypto anymore. The Fed, Congress, Wall Street, and the global treasury world are all colliding in real time. Just yesterday, we spoke about how the US isn't alone and other countries are all starting to pile in. The next wave isn't just a supply squeeze. It's a total reset in how money and capital will flow for the next decade. Check this out, guys. This makes me pretty happy to see this. So you see, this is Don Trump Jr., who says, we went all in on crypto, debanked, sued, shut out of legacy finance. We realized the financial system was undemocratic. The answer is crypto. We got in out of necessity, not because it was cool, because it made sense. This is exactly what we're talking about. I mean, this is why all the time I try to remember about All Street, guys. We're watching this in real time, breaking down of the old legacy financial system that was meant to keep you out. It's phenomenal. Like, this is really going to change the life and future of everyone around the world, as long as you're participating, as long as you take the time to learn, watch channels like this, study the markets, study.
All right. Let me see here. All right. I don't really want to get into that. Did you guys see that new partnership with Ripple though? Let me pull up some information on that. I did a video on this, but let me pull up some information. I want to show you why this could be pretty important. So let me just pull up my search history. Let's put in Rail here, and let's pull this up here. All right. So if you didn't hear, Ripple acquired a new company. This was yesterday, so it kind of got drowned out in the news with the SEC. But Ripple spent $200 million buying a company called Rail Finance. It's a major shift in global payments landscape. They support Rail processes 10% of the global B2B stablecoin payments right now, accounting to billions of dollars in annual volume. Rail's infrastructure enables cross-border settlements that typically takes days via SWIFT. Now they can settle in hours or even minutes using stablecoins. This is a dramatic improvement in speed. It's crucial for businesses managing global cash flows. The new combined platform can reduce payment costs by 80%. Listen, I just did a video on why this is important. I'll give you just like a really quick synopsis here. The reason, listen, there's only so much blockchain infrastructure that's in existence right now for stablecoins. And you got to understand that every bank, right, is going to try to compete in this space. And in order to do that, they need infrastructure. So this is kind of Ripple is able to take a piece off the board. They're able to add this to their portfolio. They're going to be able to use RLUSD and maybe their products in this. It has connections with banks and partners and payment systems. This thing's connected to SWIFT. This thing's connected to SEPA, and I believe it TIPS. There's a lot of like global payment systems that are connected to this as well. And so Ripple is trying to be strategic in their acquisitions so they can control more of the market, right? Whether they're going to sell it off at a later date or whether they're going to use that infrastructure to explode their own infrastructure. These are very important acquisitions. And if you're interested, I just put a video out on this yesterday. Go take a look at that video. I get all into why this is an important purchase for Ripple. I don't really want to talk about that. I did see this though. This was interesting. Bill Morgan posted this. Ripple had another win with the SEC immediately ordering the exemption from the bad actor disqualification arising from the permanent injunction. So if that was like a lot of legal jargon and you're not familiar with kind of what this is, when Ripple was like originally sued and the judge kind of handed down what their fine and basically that they couldn't sell XRP to institutions and some limitations, they were also labeled as a bad actor. Okay. And yesterday, this kind of went under the radar too, but they got like an exemption from the SEC, so they're not considered under this bad actor status. If you're interested in learning more about that, I did a video today. It'll be out tomorrow on my channel. Go take a look at that. I spent maybe like 5 or 10 minutes getting into all the nitty gritty if you want to understand every single detail. But this is also something that'll help Ripple with their partnerships or negotiations or connections or even offering XRP to other institutions and all of these different things. This is going to help them all of that going forward. So that's another big Stuart Alderati, I did a video kind of on all the people like, congratulating and happy that this is all over. This is really cool. And then you start to wonder, like, when is this going to start getting approved? A lot of people believe, and I believe, that the reason the SEC hadn't approved the spot ETFs were because of the Ripple and SEC case was still pending. Now that is pretty much settled, that there's a few other things that have to happen. I think the judge has to like dismiss it and all like that, but it should happen really soon. That there shouldn't be anything holding back the SEC from approving these things, and that should give us another boost in price over the next few months here. Even if we get a few of these things approved, it could be pretty insane. Listen, I did, like, some people, we were here last chat and somebody asked about like leverage plays. Like, do we do leverage plays? And actually we have somebody in the Cryptonaires Discord that does do different type of leverage plays. These are just some of the wins from the last few weeks. As you can see, like, here's a date 8/15 or 8/5. This is 95%, 72, 300s, 55, 87, 104, 229%. All of this stuff is posted in the community. All of the where to take profit, all of these things are posted by BitWizard. Obviously, just know we're not financial advisors, but we do offer this information in the community. If you're interested in joining Cryptonaires, here is wap.com/Cryptonaires. It's going to be in the description of all of my videos. If you want to just kind of give us a tryout. Here's also something that was posted, 25 million to 104 million, 4x in 4 days. Dolomite. This was another great win from our community. And here is another one. Kodak was talked about at 2 million. It's at 21 million now and rising. This is another 10x just in the last few weeks. And so anybody in Cryptonaires can tell you all this stuff is posted, and really, really cool to see it. Curtis, I'm up 256% right now. On which one, Curtis? Anyone holding Dovu on Hedera? Not holding that. I'm sorry, man. Kalen's killing it. Yeah, Kalen is fucking killing it, dude. He is killing it, man. Midnight airdrop is live. Yeah, you know what? Like, listen, the midnight airdrop is live, but I believe you have to do something like exposing your private keys or things like that, or something. Like, I was looking at it and I was like, I'm not even going to take the risk, man. Like, I don't know how much the airdrop would have been worth, but like, I don't know, man. I just don't want to risk any of my crypto. Like, it would be devastating if something, like, if I clicked on the wrong thing and I lost my XRP. I don't know if I could, like, I don't know if I could go on living at that point. So I'm just not gonna get into it, my brother. Oh, Sui, are you up 256% since we talked about it like months ago in this community, or what? Because we were talking about Sui at like 60 cents, man. Sui's a banger. Sui is a banger still. Let's just take a look at that real quick. Man, I always wish I had more money, man. Like, I just want to go to a bank and be like, hey, can I borrow $100 million? I promise I'll pay it back. Let's see here. Sui, 385. Yeah, man, we were talking about this at 60 cents. Crazy stuff, man. I mean, like, listen, if you're just getting in the crypto market and you're like, Sensei, what the hell should I be looking at? Obviously, you want to have XRP in your portfolio, but you should be looking at ADA. You should be looking at Stellar. You should be looking at Sui. You should be looking at Chainlink. You can look at the Ton ecosystem too if you're interested in like Telegram and all that stuff. But that's up to you. Ondo, obviously, if you believe in the tokenization of treasuries and money market funds, Ondo is something that you should probably have in your portfolio. Algorand, right? If you like Ethereum and layer 2s, Arbitrum is probably something you take a look at. People like Render, people like Filecoin, people like, FET. I mean, there's just so much to offer. Quant, XDC. Man, it's just, you could go on and on, man. There's never enough money, bro. There's never enough money, man. Yeah, I get very nervous about airdrops too, man. I feel you, bro. I feel you, man. Yep, XDC too. Donald, well said, man. Longfellow says, what up, Donald T? I didn't know we had the president in the chat. Sensei, do you have any thoughts about Nexara? After the last hack last summer, I'm really skeptical. Let me see. NXRA. NXRA. Nexera. let's see here. Last year, ooh, I see what you're talking about here. That's tough, man. I don't know anything about Nexera. What I can tell you is this: the crypto market is filled with good technology, right? If you're in a bunch of things that you're like not sure about, there is a lot of things that are actually better than probably what you're unsure about, right? Because part of like what we get into is like our friend tells us about something and we're like, oh shit, I need to buy this, right? I need to have some of this. And then, maybe it has a hack, or maybe it doesn't have a good community, or maybe, there's all of these things that can get in the way, right? And then you start to look at your money like, is my money just like stale sitting here? Like, what is the possible upside here, right? And I think I have let go of a lot of like BS, like tokens that I was, thought like, hey man, if this pops off, this, like I've let go a lot of that over the years. But like in 2021, I wanted to own everything and I was so lost. I had like 100 and something tokens and I was making money here, but I was losing money here, right? It's just too much to keep track of. So maybe just do a look at your inventory and say, what are the benefits of me holding this? What are the upsides? What are the downsides? And, make a decision. And if you're not sure, you probably need to speak with like a financial advisor or somebody that knows like maybe what you can do. But just make sure that person understands the crypto market. I see a lot of financial advisors have no clue about, Bitcoin or XRP or Ethereum or any of this stuff, and asking a person for advice when they don't understand the market, it's kind of like pointless, right? So, I'm sorry that's happened. It's happened to all of us. Maybe just reassess your position there and see if there's things that, might move quicker, right? Holding it to like the end of the year, maybe for a 2x or a 5x or whatever it is that you think is going to happen, there might be something that you can move that money into today that could be even more beneficial in the short term, right? And that's like some of the stuff that I was just kind of going over, some of the things that we're investing in right now in Cryptonaires. XRP getting crashed at the moment. I mean, I think a lot of people don't realize that a lot of the price and the buildup in the price was people expecting the settlement, right? Expecting the SEC to come out and do this. So some of this stuff is priced in, and sometimes people sell the market. It's just some of the stuff that we can't control. Like, this is why I don't look at the price day to day. I don't. And I know that's probably crazy. And you're probably thinking like, Sensei, how are you in crypto 24/7? Like, this is your job and you don't look at prices all the day long. It just drives me nuts. It drives me nuts. Like, if I'm in something brand new, like, okay, I'm looking at the price. Like, I'm looking like, should I take profit here? Should I get out? But if we're talking about something that I know that I'm going to be hanging on to for a long time, or at least to the end of the cycle, I don't care if the price is $1 higher today and 50 cents lower yesterday. I just care about where it's going to be at the end of the year, or what I plan on taking profit. But I hear what you're saying, man. Free speech. Appreciate you, man. Hope you're doing well. How do I feel about Shiba Inu? Hey, Calvin. Good question. I don't have any feelings one way or another. I got into Shiba Inu in the last cycle, like when it was kind of fairly new. Obviously, I could have gotten into it a few days earlier. I probably would have been a whole lot happier. But I made some good money. I sold it last cycle and I got out of it. And, I don't, a lot of people don't ask me about Shiba Inu. I think you're maybe once, a month or something like that, somebody will bring up Shiba Inu. So I haven't spent any time on it. I probably am not the best person to ask this question to. But what do you feel about it? Like, do you feel that it's going to grow in this cycle? Is it one of the things that you're passionate about? I don't know. I'll tell you a meme coin that I recently bought, a community coin I recently bought. I'll show you. I just did a video about this, and the reason I bought it is because these people asked me to do a video, and like usually I don't buy community tokens. I've been trying to shy away from that recently. But I threw $500 into Pudgy Penguins recently. And the reason I did it is because I kind of went on a deep dive into all of their socials, and I was very impressed with what those people are offering. And so I did spend $500, and I'm still holding that position actually right now. And that's the only community token in the last maybe like few weeks or a few months that I bought. I'm up 400% on low protocol. Nice, dude. Make that money, man. Yeah, dude. Pudgy Penguins is pretty crazy, right? Like here, like has anyone seen this craziness? Hold on, let me show you. Let me show you why I say this is crazy. Let me show you this. All right, and like they're not paying me to say this, right? They asked me if I would make a video, which I did. Oh shoot, hold on. What the hell is that? The website? Hold on. Here it is. Pudgy Penguins. Okay, I'll show you what got me bullish on this. Okay. All right, check this out. So, first of all, a cute penguin in a hat. Like I'm a guy sitting next to a cute seal. So this like speaks to me, right? These are my people. You know, when you kind of come down here, and I think they've changed their website a bit here recently. They definitely have changed their website a bit, but they had all of this crazy market share on, hold on. Why did they change the website? The website was so good. Pudgy Penguins. Do they have two websites? Hold on. Okay, yeah. Here's the website I was on. I don't know what CoinMarketCap has. Hold on, it's weird. Okay, so here, check this out. This was the website I saw, right? So like this was cute. Like little penguins in a hat. Like I can understand this, but this, like when I scrolled down and I saw this is what freaked me out. Okay. Total collective views across all of their platforms, 198 billion mind share. Okay. That's a pretty freaking insane number, right? They have 5 million global followers across Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And they have 107 billion total gifts, which means regular people are liking these gifts and they're sending them to each other. They also have sold 2 million toys from Big W. I don't know what the hell Big W is, but I know Walmart, right? I know Walgreens, I know GameStop, I know Target. These are some of the biggest retailers in the United States. And they just have some just truly insane stats with 872,000 holders. They've burned 13.69% of the supply. And just understand this is, a very, 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 very small part of my entire position. But like I was thoroughly impressed with all of those stats. And I decided to throw $500 at it, right? It's not going to like retire me or anything like that, but maybe I'll make a few $1,000. I'll be happy. I'm good with that. What's up, William? Good to see you, brother. Oscar Ramos is big on SHIB. Yeah, man. Like he's probably involved with SHIB more, like, researching it and doing all that stuff. I mean, I'm not here to like shit on SHIB. I just don't know enough to talk about it intelligently. So I'm not even going to try. Like I ask Oscar Ramos about SHIB, he's going to know better. Dude, like, did you see if you go to their Twitter account, hold on. Like I was looking at this and I was like freaking out, dude. Like they were having, let me see if I can find it, right? This is pretty cool. Vanek actually has them as the bell, right? I thought that was interesting. But let me see if I can find you what really kind of like I was freaking out. Like I don't know. I think their presence all over the world has been pretty good. And their art and like their marketing, they're doing some huge marketing push. I mean, they're even talking about on the Bankless podcast. Here, check this out.
What really strikes me about Pudgy Penguins as really unique is it's actually quite popular in Korea. And Korea is also a big equity culture. It's one of the most heavily traded stock markets in the world. And, I spend a lot of time in Korea. And of course, it's a big crypto culture. So to me, Pudgy Penguins, I think it's extra validation because it's so popular in Korea.
Man, Korea knows how to do it right. Speaking of Korea, all right, listen, I will give you this recommendation again. This is not about crypto. Okay. So it's not a crypto recommendation. This is a movie recommendation. And I know you're going to hear this movie and you're going to say, Sensei, what's wrong with you? But if you haven't seen K-pop Demon Hunters on Netflix, that is probably one of the best movies that I've seen in 2025. And like, I was like, K-pop Demon Hunter. So this is like an anime. It's an anime movie about K-pop artists. I was like, I looked at my wife like, are you crazy? I loved it. Like I've watched it multiple times. Go watch that movie this weekend. It is like the music that it's been on like Netflix's top 10 #1 for like over a month. The songs from that movie are like the #1 songs on Spotify, and you can't go anywhere on YouTube without like looking at it. Like, man, I get the song stuck in my head all the time. I'm like walking around my house singing, there's a song called Golden. I can't get it out of my head, man. It's a really good show. Danny, long-term XRP, ADA, XLM, XEC, HBAR. You do a good job. Belgium. Danny. Hey, well, thank you for checking in from Belgium. Appreciate you, man. And listen, XRP, ADA, XLM, XEC, HBAR, dude, like, let me know once you retire because you have some killer assets there, man. I really appreciate you. Thank you for your donation. Any donation, any donation on the channel, we do take that money every week. Well, I get paid every month from YouTube, but every week we go and we buy Luna treats. And so any donations on the channels goes to Luna. So I really appreciate you, man. Thank you for keeping Luna very happy. The Big Short, that's a good movie too, man. That's a good movie too. Dude, I'm telling you, Brandon, go watch that movie, man. I will not steer you wrong on TV shows or movies. Like that's what I enjoy, dude. Like you give me a good TV show and like I'm set. Like I don't have a whole lot of time during the day. Like, my wife knows I home all day long, right? And I think she thinks maybe like I spend time, watching TV all day long, but like really, like if you've worked from home and like I have to have something playing in the background sometimes, when I'm working, it's just, I don't know. I'm sure some of you are like that, but I wish I had more time to watch shows because I would definitely do that. But like at the end of the day, when I check out from crypto, like maybe 6 or 7 o'clock at night, I just want to watch a good show and I just want to do absolutely nothing, Anyways, you're my soda pop. Yeah, man. Yeah. See, Soja, what is it? Is it Soja Boys or something? Dude, I like Be Your Idol, at the end when they're singing that song, dude, the end. I was in tears, man, at the end. Like I knew what was coming and I still was in tears at the end, man. It's crazy. Matt has a question above. I'm sorry, Matt. I have a question about future attacks from quantum AI computers. Is XRP working to protect the asset from quantum attacks? Matt, great question. Did you see my video that I just did on this? Really quickly, I just want to make sure that everybody knows. I know it wasn't a super popular subject, but let me just show you this really quickly. Where is it? Is it this one? Yes, it's this one. Here, I just did a video on quantum, quantum computers, and let me just post this down here in case anyone's interested. But yeah, dude, quantum computers are a serious threat to the financial system, to everything, right? And this is part of the reason that I believe that countries all around the world, governments around the world are working to move things to blockchain because it'll be more secure, right? I think there's still some work to be done to keep quantum computers from attacking blockchains. I know like HBAR has already, built their technology to be quantum resistant. I know Bitcoin still needs to upgrade their network to be quantum resistant. And it's a real conversation that we definitely should be having over the next, few years, definitely. Now, I think there's, David Schwartz is an extremely smart guy, and there's a lot of really intelligent people that are working to solve this. And I know that, this has been a topic before. I haven't seen anything recently about the upgrades to prevent a quantum attack, but I'm sure it's got to be on the top of some people's minds, especially in the developer community. So as we get more information, I will bring it to you, Matt. And it's a great question. I'm glad William told me to go up there and check it out. Thank you so much. Have you seen Mike Myers' Love Guru movie? I think I've seen, yeah, I think I've seen it, but like a long time ago, man. See, Curtis says XRP has been hacked and is one of the best securities out there. Yeah, I mean, gotta imagine people have tried everything, right? Crypto Sensei, how much can you make with? I mean, that's a good question, man. Like, it's very difficult to know where this is all going. Let me just bring this back up here. So I know that they've applied, or they're trying to get an ETF approved. Okay, so what I read is that they've applied for an ETF, and like 80 to 85 or 90% of all the money that would be invested into the ETF, they would turn around and use that to buy the token up. Now, obviously we can't rely on that because we don't know if the SEC is going to approve a meme token ETF anytime soon. I'd imagine sooner or later this will happen. It might take a lawsuit or something like that to get it across the board, but people are going to want what they're going to want. Now, right now, the market cap is already 2.7 billion. And looking back at the last month, this is up about, let's see here. Last month is about up 146%. This has cooled off a bit. When I did the video, this was up like 300%. And so, I think there's some people that believe that Pudgy Penguins could probably do like a $15 to $25 million market. 15 to $25 billion market cap. So maybe, it can go from like 500 to 2,500 or best case scenario, 5,000. I don't see it going crazier than that, but I don't control markets. I have no idea. I would be very happy if I even made a few 100%, but it's not something that like it's going to retire me or anything like that. It's just something that I liked what I saw, and I wanted to support the ecosystem, man. Sometimes you just see things in the crypto space and you're like, I want to be a part of that community. I mean, I don't have a lot, but it's something. What's up, Alex Yeet? What's up, dude? Of course, Matt. Thank you for being here, man. Try to do as much as I can. Long live Theta. Great to see you. How are you, man? Corey Hart's here. What's up, Corey? Yeah, you know what? Like, what am I watching right now on I'm watching Foundation. Oh, you know what's really good? Was it Chief of War? Jason Momoa, right? That's a new show on Netflix. No, on Apple. Excuse me. It's a new show on Apple where he's like a chief of war for an island, and it takes place on in Hawaii, right, on different islands. And so it's like, oh, I've been there, right? Like you see things and you're like, oh yeah, I've been to that island, or and so it's like, that's a really good show. If you haven't started watching that, go take a look at that this weekend. And then one of my favorite shows that I really like to watch is Foundation. That's also on Apple. Apple's just making some pretty big hits, man. Thais and I just watched Happy Gilmore 2 on Netflix. That was really good, man. There were so many cameos, so many people in that. It was crazy. But that was a fun movie too, man. Best investment for $100? Like when somebody says like, what's the best investment for $100? Like, what would be good to have? This is like, what's the time frame, right? Like if you're trying to turn $100 into like $10,000 and you have like 5 months to do it, you obviously have to put that money into something risky, right? I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm just going to kind of give you what I, like randomly thoughts that have come to my head, but just don't take them as financial advice. It depends on time frame. Like if you're looking at like putting $100 into the crypto market and stretching that out over the next 5 to 10 years, obviously something that has the most to gain, the most utility, that would probably be the best place for that $100. Now, if you're just trying to turn that $100 into whatever, and you don't mind losing that $100, obviously the projects that can go up 100x or 1,000x, those are going to come with the most risk, right? And usually what has the most reward comes with the most risk. So, those would be like a new AI or DeFi or gaming project that explodes, right? That's a way to do that. You have to be very, very careful, very, very specific, and timing is everything. Very hard to do much with $100 because, if you're investing in like altcoins, like popular altcoins, top 50, top 100, some of those in this cycle maybe go up 5x or 10x. Maybe if you get lucky, you'll get something that goes up 20 or 25x. But most of these alts in this cycle are not going to do 100x or 1,000x, right? Yeah, very, very difficult on $100, my man. But I hope that was helpful. You know, really, really hope. Chief of War overview sounds like he plays the role of Kamehameha. He doesn't. He doesn't play the role of Kamehameha. He doesn't actually. But he's in the Kamehameha is actually in the show too. Different actor. Dude, you got to watch it, man. You got to watch it. It's crazy. It's super good. It's violent and gory though. You probably don't want to watch it with your young kid around or something. But you know, if like you're just hanging out, you got nothing to do. But it is like the first few episodes are all subtitles because it's in, I think, native Hawaiian. I believe. Don't shoot me if I'm wrong. I believe it's native Hawaiian. Thoughts on ZBIC? You know, Freddie, a lot of people are very bullish on ZBIC, and there's some skeptics, just like anything, right? I haven't spent a lot of time recently on ZBIC. I find one of the things that I don't like about ZBIC, right? It has a lot of like positives and this and that. One of the things I don't like, I'll tell you a few things I don't like. Sometimes when ZBIC announces some type of partnership or something like that, you look for the other company that they're announcing the partnership with to announce the same partnership. And sometimes you don't see the company that they're announcing the same partnership, right? Also, I've heard from multiple people, right? And now this might just be these random individuals that want, you know, are frustrated about something. They've asked some questions about things in their social medias, like Telegram, and they were banned for asking questions. And like, if you are going to run a project in the crypto space and you can't take any questions or skepticism or whatever, that's a problem for me, right? Because you need to be able to address whatever the questions are, because these people are interested in investing in your products and your company. And if you can't even take the time to answer something like that, I think that doesn't shine a good light. But I think the use case that they're trying to solve, if they are able to solve that at scale, is a $10 trillion use case. So, you know, they can be very, very successful, especially in this speculative market, right? But when we get to a utility market, their technology is going to have to show up and perform, and they are going to have to take market share away from other companies to really stand out. So I hope that's helpful. Donald likes Dovu on Hedera. I have no idea what that is, my man. Finally, a good show with our history. Are we talking about Chief of War Chief? You know, when you hear titles and then your brain just kind of makes up the title that you want it to be. I always have like a nickname for a show that's not the show, but like somehow my wife always knows what I'm talking about. I don't know. Ryan, aloha, Crypto Sensei, California here. You're the best. All facts on the channel. Appreciate you, Ryan Trades. Thank you, man. Who is Strobe? Hey, Redneck Crypto. So Strobe Finance is like a DeFi protocol that's been building. It's just like launched in the XRP space. I interviewed them at the beginning of the show for the first like 30 to 35 minutes. If you're interested to get some information on them, I had two of the team. I had George and Raul from their team answering questions and going through what they offer. So if you have some time and if you're interested in that, basically to give you just a quick overview, they enable lending. So if you want to use your XRP, if you want to loan it to somebody to get a reward for that, or if you want to use your XRP to take a loan in stable coins, then go and do something else with that money in the crypto space, you can do that and they can offer you terms. So if you're interested in that, go take a look. If you're not, at least you kind of know the gist of what's going on. All right. Michael, what's up, man? Thank you for being a member of the channel, dude. I really appreciate your support. Really do appreciate it. How are you, man? Yeah, so like, you know, ZBIC is, you know, one of the people that I talk a lot with is Richard. Richard's in my community in Cryptonaires. And, you know, we share ideas and, you know, we talk and like we even have some video calls sometimes. Richard's a really good dude. and very inspiring individual. And he was sharing some different ideas that he had about ZBIC, and we were kind of both on the fence. And just some of the things that he was able to find, and we were able to talk about. I just didn't. I don't know, man. Something felt off to me. And like usually when I get that feeling in the crypto space, it's for a reason. And like, I don't know, man, it's already had a huge run. I know a lot of people think it's going to go to like 10 cents this cycle. And it very well could. I just, I've lost money on so many like bullshit projects that I thought, like in the past, that I thought had like, all of these things going for it. And like, you just don't know in the crypto space, right? You don't know until you know. Like I want to like see somebody in front of me, somebody that I can like touch or go to and say like, hey, this is a real individual working for a real company, and this and this. Like what I didn't like you go to their website and they have a picture of somebody and they have their first name, right? If it like you're doxing who you are, right? Because it's your picture. So why don't you just give me your first and your last name and your LinkedIn profile? Like, why do I need to go like work hard to search for who's on your team, right? I don't like some of the things that they do. And it's maybe that's personal preference, and maybe that's part age and part like I just want this to be done for me. But yeah, some of the things threw me off, man. I'd rather go buy more XRP or buy more XLM or buy more Hedera than worry about if I'm going to wake up tomorrow and these people have ran off with my money. I'm not saying that they will, but like, I'll give you another example. Okay. A few months ago, this was brought up, right? ZBIC. And I was like, oh shit, like, why don't I reach out to their team and offer to have them on the show so we can talk to them. We can ask them questions. We can hear about their, what they're trying to do and all this stuff, right? Sent them a message. Silence. Okay. Wait 2 weeks. I sent them another message. Silence. I sent them like 5 messages over 2 to 3 months. They never responded. I offered them a free platform to come and talk about their product to XRP holders, right? Like, hello, right? And they weren't interested. Like they never even acknowledged me and they never even responded. So like, why am I going to fucking invest my money into these people if they won't even spend a second to even reply to me, right? And if they won't reply to somebody that has 85, 90,000 subscribers on YouTube and 60,000 subscribers on Twitter, if they won't even answer my questions, you think they're going to answer your questions? That's my problem, right? That is my problem. And so, all of these things kind of compounded against each other. And I was just like, I made some money. I'll take my money. I'll put it somewhere else. I'm done. Lionel Gray, what's up, my man? Great to see you, brother. How you doing? What's up, Sensei? Thanks for all the info. Absolutely, man. Always nice to see you, bro. Turk Pusher says, how will crypto ETFs affect the crypto world 10 years from now? Exchanges going out of business, holding your own coins worth a lot more due to the risk. So listen, there's always risk when you don't hold your own crypto. Okay. You can wake up tomorrow and that exchange or that company, there could be a hack, there could be a bad actor. Who knows, man? Like there's a laundry list of bad things that can happen to a crypto exchange or a crypto project in the crypto space. Okay. If you can always self-custody, that is the way to go. All right. Some people don't feel confident. Some people don't have the technical capacity to have these other wallets and send crypto other places. Like if you have problems with all that stuff, I don't recommend you trying to transfer crypto and doing all this stuff. Right. Another like easy thing, like an easy suggestion for new people in the crypto space. If in fact you're transferring a large amount of crypto to a new wallet and you're just, you have some anxiety about that, what you can do is send a very small amount first. Send $5, send $3, send $1 first. Make sure it gets there and then just repeat the process. Right now, go into your question about how ETFs will affect the crypto market 10 years from now. This is a great question. Now, if you asked Larry Fink, right, how ETFs have affected the stock market and all of these money market funds, I'd say that Larry Fink has basically said that ETFs have revolutionized all of this, right? And so the next evolution of all of this stuff will be all of these funds, right? Or all of these, either money markets or ETFs, they're going to be, brought onto blockchain and ETFs and these things. But like, that is the future of how, people in the stock market want to invest. They want to invest in a group of assets like the Big Seven or the top 500 index or whatever, right? I won't begin to say that I'm an expert on ETFs or stocks or any of that stuff because I'm not. But I do know that people that don't want to have a crypto wallet or a crypto exchange that have a stock account are going to want access to, crypto, right? And they're not going to own the actual hard asset, right? They're not going to own an XRP. They're not going to own, but they're going to own a share of a stock that represents, a percentage of a Bitcoin, or maybe it represents 5 or 10 or 20 XRP, right? And one share represents whatever the value is. And that is going to be a way for trillions of dollars to flow into the crypto space, right? Because what happens there is when people are buying into these ETFs, the ETF itself, like BlackRock or whoever is the custodian for the ETF, they have to go out and buy the asset that backs up the fund. Okay. So for example, let's say tomorrow the spot XRP ETF gets approved for all these different exchanges. Now they have to go out and they have to fund the ETF. And so they're actively buying, right? And that causes brand new buying pressure in inflows to the assets, right? And when we talk about market cap multipliers and inflows coming in, ETFs will be the biggest impact on those, right? Because when you're talking about like the tokenization of financial assets, unless you're like locking up new XRP, as liquidity against something or representing some kind of value, it's not really going to, do too much. It's good to have, trillions of dollars in assets and liquidity and all of this stuff. It's going to be needed in the days and in the years ahead. But right now, the biggest impact will come from ETFs. That will give us, the biggest push in the short term. Hope that was good. Man. Yeah, we got to 100K. We're actually 101K now. We're actually at 101K now, and it's been a crazy ride. I wasn't able to bring up a video on my computer. I wanted to show, okay, here, like I think I can show you this. So hold on. All right, so I'm just gonna have to okay. So let me set the stage here. Last weekend, it was a Saturday. My wife and we went to get a massage, and then after, of course, we had to go to Costco because shit's expensive here in Hawaii. Groceries are, and so you go to Costco to buy stuff in bulk. And we were we got to Costco, and there was like 16 or 15 people. If they subscribed, we would reach 100K, and I didn't want to miss it. And so here is. I don't know, it's hard to see, but it's like my analytics page, and we're at 9999. And so it's just a short, 7 seconds, but here, this is me, my live reaction at Costco. And so I screamed, yes. And then it was good. And then, here, so this is it was a nice moment. It was nice. My wife started crying because she knows how much work went into, 3 years of my life went into building this channel. And it's been a crazy ride, man. It's been a crazy ride. Will you do something when you hit 500K? I mean, I know these are big numbers, right? And I'm super proud of all of the people and all the stuff that we've been able to do. But at the end of the day, these are just numbers, right? And the thing that I care about most is providing people access to good information in a timely manner. I'm so passionate about sharing what I believe is the next financial system is like if I could get more people involved with this stuff and tell them and show them like why I am so bullish on all this stuff. Like that is all I care about, whether that's for 1,000 people or 10,000 or 100,000 or a million, like that'll all figure itself out as it does. Right. But as long as I can provide people value for their time, that is the biggest thing that matters to me. So appreciate you. Sabrina, great to see you. How are you? I appreciate you, Ruben. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool to hit it, like I like seeing my wife, she started crying. Like I was like, holy shit, like this is a big moment. It didn't hit me in the moment. Like I was happy, but it didn't, like the impact of it didn't hit me in the moment. And it was really nice. Do I hold Flare? Yeah, I do. I do hold Flare. And I actually bought more Flare recently. I bought more Flare recently. I think people are sleeping on Flare, man. Thank you, Christopher. I appreciate you, man. Dude, like we were right near the produce aisle. We were right near the produce aisle, man. We were actually like, if you've been to town Costco, right? You go and like there's all the beer and it goes like the beer aisle goes right into the freezer, right? And we were like hanging out there. There were so many people there. We kind of went over a few aisles to like where all the wine is, and we were like hanging out there, man. Thank you, Richard. I appreciate you. Ariana, appreciate you. Metal is going a little crazy here. Dude, I like the excitement though. I like the excitement. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Jose. Thank you, man. That's really nice. Yeah, man. Richard's been sending me a lot of stuff on Flare, man. Richard's very bullish on Flare. Let's see here. I'll hit you in the moment or not in the moment. Pow yow. All right, fair enough. Let's see here. Pierre says Velo has much pump than Flare recently. Lower supply. Dude, Velo is a great choice too, man. Like there's just so many good choices. It's so hard to choose sometimes, man. It's so hard to choose. Oh shoot. Ariana says, I saw Pantera last week. I'm so metal this week. Love that, man. I love that. Did I just say Dick Flare? Sometimes people speak in code, man. I don't even know. I don't even know. I mean, there's not really any other news that I want to talk about. Any other questions you guys have? It's Friday, man. What are you guys doing this weekend? Anybody have any cool stuff going on? I'm going to be researching as always, making content. Might go to the beach this weekend. Oh, hey, William, 30th, August 30th. That's when we're going to have a party. You're definitely invited, man. You and the family. Poker, Jim's, you're talking. I like. Tell me more about this. Tell me more about this. Is this Texas Hold'em? Is this 5-card stud? What are we playing here, man? Because that sounds good to me. I love playing some poker. It says drinking beer and FOMO. All right, I like it, man. Yeah, dude, I like Texas Hold'em. I've actually won a few tournaments. Actually, I mean nothing crazy, like 20 grand here, 15 grand there, nothing insane, but I can hold my own at a poker game. You'll forever be anchored to Costco, Beard, Wild Isle. If you go out and just try to buy like regular groceries here in Hawaii, if you go to like Safeway or like one of the grocery stores, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg. Like, especially if you're trying to, buy chicken or beef or just anything, man. It's just cheaper at Costco. It's hell though, man. Like Costco on the mainland is packed, but like in Hawaii, there's only like, I think 3 Costcos in on Oahu, and you got 1 million people. and the Costco in Honolulu is like one of the busiest Costco's in the world, and it's just crazy, man. It's just crazy. I get so much anxiety. I couldn't go to Costco like a few years ago. I had surgery, and like after the surgery, I couldn't deal with all the people. I don't know what it was, but like for a while, for like a year, I couldn't go to Costco. Like it was just too much, too many people, too close. It was kind of during like COVID too, and so I was like, but I've never been to Costco. I need to check it out. Oh, well, Sam's Club's like the same thing, man. Like I think Sam's Club is kind of like Costco. Some would say like Sam's Club has maybe some different stuff, but a lot of the stuff's the same. Like it's the same thing, Let's see here. Christopher says building a website for a Catholic prep school, fun. But after that, plan to visit the local fair that's going on. Love me some fair food. Yeah, dude, like you're gonna have like some deep fried like Twinkies and things like that. Like they have some pretty crazy like funnel cakes. There's some pretty good stuff, man. Hello, Sensei. How are you? Thank you for being here for us. Broderick, thank you so much for being here, man. I appreciate you. Man, I wish I could see all of these things. You like Zippies? I used to, like in my 20s, I used to kind of like, I used to go out drinking and all that stuff, partying. And I used to, like Zippies was a great place to go the next day to kind of, absorb all that stuff. And I just haven't been a long time. Like I know they have like good chili, they have like good Simon soup and things like that. And, just a good lunch menu. But I haven't been in a while. But it's good, man. Let's see here. Hey, Sensei, do anything about the Lil Pepe sale? Ooh, Little Pepe. This sounds a little sketch, Victor Vega. Is Little Pepe a real project? Let's just take a look here. Let's take a look. We'll take a look together here. So we're going to look for Little Pepe. Little Pepe. Let's see here. Is anybody talking about Little Pepe? Is this it? Little Pepe token? Joined February 2025. Oh man, see, like these always are sketch, bro. These are always sketch. Let's see, is anybody talking about it? Little Pepe is getting a lot of attention today. It's a layer 2 meme token with lower fees. Lower fees? What? Beware of fake Little Pepe tokens. So this person is saying Little Pepe is a loaded trap. 26.5 billion tokens sold in hype presale. 0 unlocked at TGE. Buyers can't claim. 3-month cliff. 20-month drip. No real layer 2 chain. Anonymous devs. I'd say it's a scam, man. I'd say be careful. Sensei, you're going to Costco at the wrong times, bro. I know, dude. I know. Like sometimes the best times like early morning, right? But yeah, like I'm going obviously at the wrong times, man. Timing is everything in life. Zippies, that rolling paper, different zippies. Yeah, man, I'd be very careful, man. Like, yeah, I'd be very careful that like anything little Pepe, small Pepe, like it's not the real Pepe, right? Like you're just scammers often latch onto successful projects from the past to create new buzz because you have like there's probably hundreds of thousands or millions of people that bought or sold Pepe at a given time, right? And so when they bring the name of that in and it's like Little Pepe, they're like, oh, is this like the same team or is the same whatever? They're trying to build off that, but normally it's always a scam. So I can tell you right now, like hold on, let me just see if I can show you some stuff here. Okay, hold on. Let me see here. Hold on. I'm trying to pull something up on my screen. Just give me 1 second. Mother clucker. Okay. Okay, here. I'm going to show you something. All right. So like, let me just pull this up on my screen before I show it to you. Okay. Okay. Oh my God. Why does Discord hate me? Hold on. Okay, here we go. All right. I'm going to show you some interesting stuff here. Okay. So this is what my community looks like. If you're interested, if you're not, I don't, it is what it is. Okay. So I'm just going to show you one person in my community. This is Kellyanne. He's been on fire recently. Okay. So let me just show you this. So this is a project that he had posted, Kodik. He posted it at 2 million in the community. It's at 34 million right now. Okay. So this is a 17x that was just been posted recently. Okay. He also posted HEU, her wrist. This is up 150%, right? Since he posted it. I mean, there's just a lot of really good information changing hands here. He's posting different things that he's interested in. Here's a Dolomite. This is a 4x in 4 days. It's a 400% gain in 4 days. But anyways, there's a lot of information being shared by multiple people, but that's just one of the people that's been really on fire recently. And we're thankful to have him, man. I sound drunk. Good thing I don't really drink, man. I had a glass of champagne. I think in the last maybe 6 months, maybe I've had one glass of champagne. But if I sound drunk, it's probably because I'm really tired, man. Streaming for 2 hours straight, while creating content for an hour before this, like 3 hours of just constant talking, it'll do it to you, man. But I appreciate you showing me. I appreciate you pointing that out. I'm 2 hours late. Shane, what's up, dude? Nice to see you, man. Yeah, guys, like, listen, if you're interested, if you're interested in just taking a look at the community, it's $50 a month, and they're like the information. Like if you would have just taken $1,000 and put it into the last maybe 5 or 10 plays that Kaylin talked about, like 1 or 2 of them might have not gone anywhere. Maybe you've lost money on those, but there's been 7 or 8 that have gone 5x, 10x, 15x. I mean, you'd probably be up 50 grand or something like that. It's kind of crazy. So, we're just going to keep doing our thing. We have a few other people posting stuff, Bitcoin Wizard, and then we have the community too. So if you're interested in joining the community, wap.com/cryptonaires. Love to have you. Yeah, man. Here, let me just show you this real quick if you guys are interested. So wap.com/cryptonaires. It's $50 a month. We have 54 5-star reviews. We have good people, man. We have people that have been in the crypto market for a long time, people with experience, people that are compassionate and caring. You can ask questions. If you want to ask me a question, I'm there too. Just listen. Discord has a problem with scammers. So if you do join any Discord community, not just Cryptonaires, but any Discord community, if you might want to turn your DMs off, right? Because you're going to get nonstop people trying to reach out to you saying they're this or saying they're that. Obviously, my name, it says Crypto Sensei. I'll never DM you first. So if you ever get a friend request or a DM from somebody claiming to be Crypto Sensei, it's not me, right? And you can always verify who, you can always see me in the community. Let me just show you this really quickly. In the top right of the community, you should have it'll say my name, Crypto Sensei here. I'll have a king helmet. Here, I put a lot of updates into this. So this is my name. Crypto Sensei won't ever DM you. Yeah, man. A lot of good stuff. Very respectful. And Ariana's there, so it's even better, right? Oh, I appreciate you, Broderick. Thank you, man. Oh man, looking at crypto, I just want charted. You speak in code, I feel like. You speak in code. Good morning, Sensei from Australia. Jazzbar, great to see you. What's up? I love the kangaroos, man. The kangaroos are so cool. Listen, I'm gonna come to Australia one day and like hopefully you can show me around because I love that. Yeah, guys, if you're interested too, there should be a link in the description of the YouTube. Any of my YouTube videos, if you need to find it, there's always going to be a link to Cryptoneers in every YouTube video. I just like recently, like the last few months, I just haven't been talking about it too much, and like I should. Like, there's a lot of really good information in the community, and I need to spend more time talking about it. Like, I just, I've been so focused on just providing content and quality content that I just kind of, it's been slipping my mind, but I should tell you. Please, anytime, bro. Oh, I'm going to take you up on that. I will take you up on that. Trust me. Come to Melbourne. See, I'm going to have to go different places. I'm going to have to go different places, but hey, that's the goal here. I'm hoping XRP goes some stupid stuff. And then I could just be like, all right, man, I'm going to spend a month in Australia and I'm just going to go around and just visit everybody. That'd be so cool. Boomerang time. Oh man. Actually, like the most watched. So like I look at the statistics on the channel and like 50, 55, 56% of the channel is American. But then it's like I believe like Australia is hold on, let me just look so I don't give you like the wrong information. I think Australia is like 5% of the community is from Australia, which is awesome. Let me see here. Audience. Oh wait, just hit 101,000 subscribers. Look at that. That's beautiful. So here it is. So 57.2 is United States, 5.9 is United Kingdom, and then Australia is third, 5.6%, followed by Canada at 5.5%, and then Germany at 2.5%. So really, really, really cool to see that. Here, I'll show you this if you guys want to see. Here, look. So this is looking at the last 28 days on the channel. So here you go. Here's the United States. This tells you like how many views. So 2.3 million views. Average watch time is about 4 minutes, 47 seconds. And then people have watched the channel 178,000 hours the last 28 days. So kind of crazy. Kind of crazy, man. Oh, see, like, hey, you guys should connect. If you got people in different places of the world that are on the same thing, you guys should connect, man. Heard some rumor about Bitcoin and ETH expire in 2031. Is there something in the code? Jeffrey, I haven't heard anything like that, man. We can fact check that in real time though, my man. Is there anything in the code for Bitcoin or Ethereum that it would expire by 2031 or any date? Let's see what we can do here, man. There is nothing in the code or the protocol for either Bitcoin or Ethereum blockchains that cause it to automatically expire by 2031 or any date. So I'd have to say this is just some FUD from somewhere. If something changes and I'm able to like verify something like that, man, I definitely would like be out here shouting it from a rooftop. Because like that would honestly benefit XRP the most, right? Because if something was wrong with Bitcoin and Ethereum, where are these people going to go, right? But no, I haven't heard anything like that, man. I think it's just some FUD. TKD, what's up, man? Hello. XRP boomerang would be sweet. That would be sweet. That would be really sweet. Jeffrey works for CNN, apparently. Damn, Kevin. That's harsh. That's funny, though. Man. Legacy news. Ugh, I don't like any legacy news. I watch a lot of like YouTube independent, channels rather than watching mainstream news. I don't even like watch cable anymore. I haven't watched cable for years. It's just everybody has an agenda, and it's like everybody wants you to hate the other side, and like we're all just people, man, you know. And I think shit's gotten a little too out of control the last few years. Like you can't even like express your opinions about something without causing an issue. And like I'm a heavily opinionated person, and so like I have to watch what I say at all times. GVT, thank you, man. I appreciate you. Oh, like you and my wife could talk then. Portuguese background. So I could take you and make sure your Aussie food and Portuguese food. Man, look at that. That is so cool, man. All around the music. Hi from Athens. Is XRP a real deal or a dream? I mean, some people would call it both, right? There's people like myself that believe it is a vital part of the new financial system, and there's people that just believe it's, you know, a dream and a fantasy. And I think part of it, you know, nobody really knows what's going to happen. I think people are making educated guesses. You know, I think people look at, you know, what really does it for me is when you look at like the IMF or the BIS or the World Economic Forum, and I know we all have different opinions about, you know, those 3-letter agencies or whatever they are, but like when you see them doing, you know, sandbox testing, and there's like, I don't know, countless documents talking about XRP and XLM and quant, you know, some of this technology is going to be used on a massive scale. And I don't think anybody can tell you 100% sure how this is all going to turn out. But, you know, part of it is believing in something and going all in on it, right? And if you're wrong, you're going to lose hard. You're going to lose a lot. But if you're right, might mean everything. Might mean everything. And, you know, I'm willing to throw it all out. I'm willing to go all in, put it all on the line. See what happens. You know? It's what dreams are made of, man. Yeah. Yeah, it's a crazy world we live in today. You know? I don't know if it's going to get easier. I don't think it's going to get easier. You know, we're all just programmed to hate each other now. It's unfortunate. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. I don't know. Yeah, I can't even have the conversations, you know. If somebody thinks differently of you, like, you know what's crazy though? You could have the same opinion that somebody else has on like 90% of things, but if you disagree on like one major thing, you don't want to talk to that person, right? Because you're like, how could they believe that? Or, you know, how could they follow that? It's crazy, man. It's crazy. What's up with the painting in the background? The seal? Oh yeah, that's all I got. Right, is a seal. You see the little thing here too? That's Nessie. Nessie's a little sneaky. You don't know Nessie's there. Here. That's an Apex Legends Nessie. So the seal is a well, you know, some people have heard this story and some people haven't. I'll just tell you. I was going through a very challenging time in my life. And there was a point where I didn't think I was going to come out of this spiral I was in. You know, I had surgery on my leg, and the hospital ended up stitching a nerve in my leg into the scar. And I was in just intolerable pain. I couldn't stand. I couldn't sit in a chair for longer than like 10 minutes without being in I was miserable. And I had gone down from about 180 pounds to about 125 pounds. Like I was about to check out, and my doctors were really worried. And at the time, my wife kind of didn't know what to do or didn't know how to help me. And some time went by, I started to get better, and she brought home this little seal. This little seal. It's probably this big. Actually, you want me to show you what the seal looks like? I'll be right back. Hold on. Not yet. Stay there. All right. Check this out. She even made a custom pouch. So my wife brought me home this seal. And it's not much. But this meant something to me. And like over time, it helped me. Like when I was going through like a very challenging time in my life, or if I was like upset or angry or mad or something crazy, I just grabbed the seal, and then I would feel better. I would feel better really quickly. And it just became one of those things that, like, if I needed to calm down, or if I would grab the seal, and things were just better. It's just one of those weird things. And so it's always been something that's meant a lot to me, right? And it helped me get through this very challenging period in my life. And Thaisa knows that. My wife knows. She knows that. And so, like, what you can't see is, like, there's a seal here, like on my dresser, and there's like our dog Luna has like 4 or 5 seals, like little stuffed animal seals. And so it's just like become like a symbol, in my life. It's kind of like a not many people know about it, and so that's what it is. Seals are awesome, but a little evil. Yeah, they have like some crazy claws too. Have you seen seals with the claws? Like, they could be really cute, but they could be really really deadly too. Yeah, it was a scary time, man, and that got me through, and I don't know what I don't know what would have happened if it would have went the other way. I probably wouldn't be here today if it went the other way. So Jordan, yeah, we're a little late. We're 2 hours and 12 minutes in. Maybe I need to start streaming like an hour later. I feel like maybe it's too soon. You guys are so weird at the chat. It did come from a very important person to me. It meant a lot. Sea turtle's teeth. You guys are so funny, man. Exactly, Kevin. Exactly. In hard times, the smallest things have the biggest impact. Yeah. And sometimes, you just got to get out of your own way, and sometimes it's hard when you get fixated on something, like I can be a very, very emotional person. I have highs and I have lows, and sometimes to get out of those lows, you need something to snap you out of it. And just so happens, the seal helps. So we'll go with it. Sensei, I know you had surgery on your hip. How you doing, buddy? Keep you in my prayers. Actually, Calvin, you're doing really well. So I had surgery back in, was it April? April. I thought it was March. It was April. And so they, you know, I had a tear in my hip, and then I had some arthritis in my hip, and the doctor went in and was able to remove some of the arthritis and fix the tear. And I've been going to physical therapy twice a week for like the last like 4 months or something, or 4 months. And it's really helped. And I'm a lot stronger today than I was, 4 months ago. And it's actually helped me a lot, man. So thank you. I appreciate you, Calvin. Thank you for your prayers, man. It means a lot to me. All right. Do we got any other questions before we end here today? I feel like, once we get like 2 hours and 15 minutes and I start talking about, seals and things like that, things that we've reached a tipping point in the day. All right. So here, let's do this, guys. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for showing up every week, spending this time with me, watching my content, learning and growing with me. You guys have made me a better person, a better researcher, a better friend, better husband, all of those things. So I really appreciate, everything that you guys do day in and day out. I want you guys to have a good weekend, spend some time with some people that you love, do something that you love. Remember that, crypto is a part of your life, but it shouldn't be everything in your life. I just can't thank you enough for all your support through these years. So, have a good weekend. If I could do anything for you, let me know. If you're interested to like ask me more questions, or, when I'm not streaming and these type of things, you can obviously leave a comment in a YouTube video. But if you want like direct access to me more often, joining Cryptonaires is probably the easiest way to do that. You can send me a message on Twitter. I will try to get back to it. I try to get back to as many things as I can. But I'm on Discord a lot. So if I could do anything for you, please let me know. I appreciate each one of you. I will see you guys on Tuesday for another live stream. I'll try to maybe push it back an hour so that more people can show up. But thank you so much for being here. Have a good weekend. Okay. Thank you, Ariana. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you, William. Thank you, Curtis, for keeping the chat safe. And thank you for everybody that's asked a question, or anybody that just showed up in chat just to hang out. I really appreciate you. All right. Aloha.